A woman loses her life under tragic circumstances, but the story being told doesn't fully make sense. At first, everything seemed like a heartbreaking situation, a sudden loss, a grieving husband, a story people wanted to believe. But when you take a closer look, things start to feel off. This is the case of Ashlee Janae. Ashlee Janae was known as someone full of life. She had a presence people gravitated toward, the kind of person who left an impression wherever she went. From the outside, her relationship appeared normal. Nothing that immediately raised alarms, nothing that suggested things would end the way they did. But behind closed doors, the full story may have been very different. The night everything changed, details are still being questioned. According to the account given, what happened was sudden, unexpected, a situation that quickly turned into tragedy. But here's where things begin to shift. Because when people started looking deeper into the timeline, into the actions taken before, during, and after, some things didn't quite add up. Small details, the kind most people overlook, became the biggest questions. How did events unfold the way they were described? Why did certain reactions seem delayed or unusual? And most importantly, was everything being said the full truth? As more attention was brought to the case, people began pointing out inconsistencies, not just in the story itself, but in the behavior surrounding it, the way things were handled, the way information was shared. It didn't sit right with everyone. And in situations like this, it's often not just about what happened. It's about what doesn't get explained, what gets left out, what gets overlooked. Social media quickly picked up on the case. Theories started spreading. Debates started forming. Some believed this was nothing more than a tragic loss, a situation blown out of proportion. Others weren't convinced. They believed there was more beneath the surface, something that hadn't been fully uncovered yet. And that's what makes cases like this so unsettling, because the truth isn't always clear. It exists somewhere between what's said and what actually happened. So the question becomes, was this truly just a tragic situation, or is there something more to the story that hasn't been fully revealed? I'll let you decide. To really understand why this case has people so invested, you have to understand who Ashlee Janae actually was. Ashlee Janae, whose real name was Ashley Robinson, wasn't just a random name going viral. She was a content creator, a lifestyle influencer who built a following online, sharing her life, her travels, her relationship, and the moments that made up her everyday reality. She had tens of thousands of followers, and her content showed someone who was happy, someone who was building something. Just days before her death, she was posting about her birthday, her engagement, what looked like one of the happiest moments of her life. And that's what makes this story hit different, because the transition from celebrating life to suddenly being gone happened in a matter of days. At the center of all of this is her fiancé, Joe McCann, a crypto trader and founder of a financial company, someone who, by all appearances, was financially successful. According to reports, Ashlee and Joe were on a trip together in Zanzibar, Tanzania, a trip that was supposed to be a celebration, her birthday, their engagement, a new chapter. But behind the scenes, something changed. Ashlee reportedly told her mother that the two had gotten into an argument, serious enough that they were placed in separate rooms. And then, less than 24 hours later, Ashlee was found unconscious. She was taken to a hospital, and shortly after, she was pronounced dead. Now this is where things start to raise questions, because according to her family, the timeline doesn't make sense. Her fiancé allegedly told them that something had happened, but there was a delay of around 11 hours before they were even notified. And for a lot of people, that's one of the biggest red flags. Another detail that's been heavily discussed is what he told them. He reportedly claimed that Ashlee had done something to herself, but her family, they don't believe that at all. They've been very clear. They say Ashlee was happy, excited, looking forward to her future, and they strongly reject the idea that she would take her own life. And that disagreement is a big part of why this case has exploded online. Because officially, authorities have suggested the possibility of suicide, but at the same time, there's still an active investigation. No arrests, no confirmed cause of death. And Joe McCann? He hasn't been charged with anything. Right now, he's being treated as a witness, but his passport has reportedly been held while authorities continue to question him. So you have two sides forming. The official side, which suggests one version of events, and the family, who are pushing for answers and saying something isn't right. And then there's social media, because once this story hit the internet, It spread fast. People started digging, breaking down timelines, rewatching her content, looking at her last posts, trying to find clues. One of the biggest moments that really pushed this case into the spotlight came from one of Ashlee's friends. A public post calling for justice, saying clearly that Ashlee would never take her own life. And that post, it changed everything. Because now this wasn't just a tragic story, it became a question people felt like they needed answered. At the same time, Ashlee's family launched a GoFundMe, not just to cover funeral costs, but to deal with the reality of what they were facing. An overseas investigation, travel expenses, the process of bringing her home. And within days, tens of thousands of dollars were raised, hundreds of people donating, showing just how many lives she impacted. But even that added another layer to the conversation. Because while her family is asking for help and trying to get answers, people online are asking a different question. If her fiancé is as successful as people say, why is the family the one carrying that burden? And again, it's not proof of anything, but it adds to the growing list of questions. And that's really what this case is built on right now. Questions, not clear answers, not confirmed conclusions, just pieces that don't fully fit together. And the more people look at it, the more those pieces stand out. So now, you've got a case where the timeline feels off, the family is speaking out, social media is heavily involved, and the official answers still aren't fully there. Which brings everything back to the same place. What actually happened to Ashlee Janae? And more importantly, is everything we're being told the full story?